daily soccer podcast with the Global Sports Podcast Network.
Hello and welcome to the Daily Newcastle. My name is Iain Mackay. I'm your host tonight. I'm joined by my friend and colleague, Mr. Michael Grahamslaw. Michael, how are you doing this evening?
I'm doing very well, thank you very much, Iain. How about yourself?
I'm doing all right. I'm doing it without my glasses, as I've said. So if I say who said that, just wave your hands about. And no, I can see. It's fine.
It's just me. The other one didn't turn up.
Yes, Kev missing in action. We thought we were going to see Kev, but sadly not. Anyway, we are together to discuss the fallout, as it were, from Newcastle 2, Nottingham Forest 0 on Sunday afternoon. Now, I know you did a very good immediate post-match reaction yesterday, Michael, so I'm conscious that
Thank
we
you.
don't want to have the same podcast, but with me putting some bits into it as well. So we'll try and have a little bit of a different perspective on it. But first off, as we hoped, I think, as we predicted even nearly, the lineup was a duplicate of the lineup that had produced our head and shoulders best performance of the season away at USG 3 days previously. Dan Burn persisting at left back, which always makes me raise my eyebrows a little bit. But news afterwards that Lewis Hall had a little bit of a setback, so I don't think we had very much choice. Were you surprised? Were you pleased? Would you have changed it yourself?
Yeah, I think when I look at the game, and I didn't mention this yesterday, I think the first half you could kind of tell we were a bit leggy. But personally, I wouldn't have changed a thing. The only thing I would have looked at and thought maybe we could change that would be Alanga and Murphy. But it would be harsh to drop Alanga after the brilliant game he had against Union Saint-Gilloise.
He was good. He was good.
Jacob Murphy just looks so good every time he plays for us now. I think I know he's got the most assists for us this season. He looks dangerous every single time he plays, and he could have had another 2 assists in this game. So I would have started Alanga this game. I did say Williams might have had his number, but I don't know about you, but I think Murphy might have put in a performance that cements his place next time. What do you think about
that? I think you might be right. Not because particularly Murphy was fantastic. He was good when he came on. He was good. I really loved the last phase of play when he went on that little run, sort of cut in between two defenders. They got so close to him but couldn't tackle him for fear of bringing him down. And then it's just a shame the shot was straight at Matt Sells, who I think, by the way, we ought to recognise that without Matt Sells, Forest could have gone home with a 6-0 thumping, and Ange Postecoglou would have been available for the Rangers job. Can you imagine that?
Another terrible appointment for Rangers and Ange Postecoglou.
You can't imagine that. No. Oh, he's already been at Celtic, hasn't he? So he would never get the Rangers job. But no, I mean, I genuinely think, we were leggy in the first half. Didn't stop us. It didn't stop Sells making one world-class save to claw Joe Linton's header out at the back post. I mean, that looked in all the way.
Great save.
Joe Linton rising above two centre halves and then placing his header in the top corner. But fantastic save from Sells. But in the second half, we did seem to really step it up, and it was one-way traffic, really, wasn't it? I mean, Voltemada he was set up by Morata actually, but he had a really strong volley from about 6 yards out that Morata blocked from somehow recovered to block. That should have gone in. Obviously, Voltemada whacked the ball off the underside of the bar, which on any other day would have gone in. Chow had a brilliant corner land on his foot. I don't know how Sells got his foot to that, but that looked a goal all ends up.
Yeah, it's a great ball by Murphy, 100%.
Put in that Barnes breaking through and knocking the wind out of Sells after a fabulous through ball from Murphy. Murphy's own little run at the end, shot into not the top corner, unfortunately, in the middle of the goal. And the 2 goals we actually scored, I think I'm up at 7 there that we should have had, without cells. I mean, he never showed that when Rafa bought him, did he?
No, he was absolutely terrible for us in the championship, wasn't he? He had a good chant, and that was about it. And to be honest, I liked him. I thought he might have had something, but he didn't show a single bit of that at Newcastle, did he? He was absolutely dreadful. And to be honest, Carl Darlow came in, another one whose chant was better than him. But he's doing well in the Premier League now as well. So maybe
Yeah,
we've
there's a
just
lot
got
of.
good goalkeepers for the future. And I mean, Odysseys. I don't know if you saw that as well. Didn't play a game for us. Played for Sevilla when they beat Barcelona 4-1. He's sitting there going,
Is that where he's
"This is
gone?
yeah." He's sitting there going, "Oh, this is the worst goalkeeper I've ever seen in my life." He he didn't keep a clean sheet, but keeps Barcelona down to 1. So I don't know what it is about our goalkeepers, but Ramsdale will probably go on to play for Real Madrid in a few seasons, given the way it's gone.
Man U were
Can't see
after
it, but
Pope.
yeah.
Man U were
Yeah.
after a Pope for a while, weren't they? So yeah, just as an aside, just because we're going to have a little bit of spare time on this in-depth review, because we've already started talking about the game, which was what we were going to do in part two, Michael. Um,
Sorry.
how many ex Newcastle goalkeepers are first choice in the Premier League now? Then I'm thinking Sells, Dubravka, Darlow,
And Darlow. I think that's
Pope.
it.
We've got to include Pope. He's there
Yeah.
now, isn't he? Um, that's not bad, that is it?
No, we've had some really good talent over the years. You just sort of have to look and go, maybe our goalkeeping position's better than what we thought. I mean, Nick Pope's probably been the best in the league this season. So,
Freddie Woodman
yeah,
at
he's at
Liverpool.
Liverpool. Might be first choice when Mohamedashvili inevitably picks up that injury.
When does where did Fraser Foster go to? Is he still
Don't
playing?
think he's got a job
He,
anymore.
no, he was at Tottenham, wasn't he? Though last year,
He
I
was,
can't
but I
remember
think
now.
he's been he was let go. Currently a free agent, if anyone fancies it.
Yeah, well,
Yeah,
there's
great keeper as well in his day.
in his day, indeed.
Yeah,
So we should have won 7-0. In fact, we won 2-0. But comprehensive, I think, and it's really unusual that Newcastle got stronger in the second half.
yeah, I completely agree. I
That
think
never
you
happens.
look at that. No, I think that first half was very dull, very boring. That second half alone was the highest XG by a team this season. Newcastle had, I think, we had, I think it was 0.5 in the first half. We ended up with nearly 4. And only 2 teams have had by higher than we had in the whole game all season. So it's one of those where that second half it doesn't feel like it, but it was actually one of the best attacking performances of any side and a half this season by the stats. Now, we
Mm.
look at it, it's just Nottingham Forest under Ange Postecoglou, but it was actually a really good performance, particularly in the second half by us, and a great way to go into the international break, I think.
I think it definitely cheered me up, and a little bit surprised. I always listen to one or two of the journalists straight after that do their post match. They didn't seem that enthused by it. Craig Hope was a bit off about it all.
Yeah,
He was
I
pleased
I
that
do
we'd
get it.
won, but he's usually a happy clapper, old Craig. But he certainly wasn't after that game, and I don't know if he was concentrating on finishing his article off in the last half hour, and therefore missed all of the fantastic play that we did. I thought we were really good. I thought we got better and better as the game wore on. I thought for a change, the substitutes looked quite good when they came on. Murphy, as you said,
100%.
was an improvement for Alanga.
Yeah,
Um, thought Asula was good when he came on, just for having the energy to tie up
yeah,
the
right at the
three
end.
guys at the back right at the end. Barnes looked really quite sharp as well when he came on.
Yeah,
Um, he
he's
could have
really
scored.
unlucky not to get a good shot away when he plays a little 1-2 with Bruno. Bruno fires the ball back at him. And I'll be honest, a better player, well, Nick Voltemade is probably able to turn and put that in the back of the net. We know how good he is with the ball coming into his feet. Harvey Barnes, a little less game time at the minute, just bounces off him a little bit, and I believe he still wins a corner from it, just by harassing Milenkovic. So the energy was there. Barnes, I know it was a 20-minute cameo, but it was probably the most enthusiastic I've been about Barnes this season,
Yeah, it
because
was
I
good.
thought he was going to have a fantastic start, but it's a very good moment when you leave a game and you think your substitutes have done the job and they've been really positive. So massive credit to Murphy and Barnes, because I don't usually feel that way.
Yeah, but particularly when your substitutes have come on because the starters have worked hard and are starting to look a little bit tired, but have also
Yeah.
done their job. That's why it's really enthusiastic. By the way, it should have been 8-0. I forgot my favourite moment, which I really thought was going to go in. And yes, I'm absolutely sure that he meant it. Diagonal
Tonali.
ball from Kieran Trippier to Tonali to side foot a volley, which was brilliantly tipped over again by Sells, but that was dropping
It
in the far
was.
corner.
Yeah, it was. I remember watching it, and I remember the commentators. The first thing they said was, "He's meant that. He's 100% meant that." Because who could he cross to? And I'm sitting there going, "We know full well that he's it's going to be like the first one he did. 70% cross, 30% shot.
No,
Reality is, I just want it
I
in
think
there."
I think if you look, he looks for that one. I get the first one, and even he said afterwards, didn't he, that he was across really, but I hit it hard
Yeah.
enough to be a shot. But I think he meant that one, definitely. Right, let's hear from Ken.
Your body is unique, and Global Sports Podcast Network has partnered with Bioniq, the world's most personalised supplements. Bioniq provide 100% tailor-made supplements designed to deliver precisely what your body needs at exactly the right levels to optimise your health. No guessing. So click the link in the show notes. Use the code GSPN 2025 for 40% off your first month's subscription. Bioniq. Don't settle for off-the-shelf solutions made for just anybody. Get what's right for you right now.
Well, music in that one, which is unusual, isn't it? But never mind.
Yeah.
Thanks, Ken. Part two, which we're going to do part three. And I'm just going to, while I find what I'm just improvising something for part three that's coming up, Michael, which you'll like.
Oh,
I promise
oh
you'll like
no.
it.
Scary times.
This middle section, right? I think that was the best. If Lewis Hall had been fit and had replaced Dan Burn at left back, and Tino had been fit and replaced Kieran Trippier at right back, I think that's our best team so far. But there's a headache coming, and I want you to cast your mind to this, Michael. When Yoane
Okay.
Wissa's knee eventually heals up and he gets to be match fit,
Mm-hmm.
where where does he fit into that team? Centre forward, that's an easy answer. But if he fits in centre forward, where do the rest of them fit?
Yeah, I think Yoane
Discuss.
Wissa's place is. To start off, I think Yoane Wissa's place has got to be on the bench, which is a bit harsh considering we've only signed him for this season and a little bit beyond. He might come in and start straight away, depending on Voltemada's fitness, but you cannot drop the big German, can you? And I think the only alternative for me would be potentially dropping Voltemada into maybe a 10 role, playing him a bit more of a 4-3-3 or a 4-2-3-1, and taking Joe Linton out. But when you do that, you lose the toughness in the spine. We saw yesterday how many times did Gibbs White or Anderson or Yates get on the ball and Joe Linton just went, nope. I
Yeah,
remember the 30-second spell where he shoulder barges Gibbs White off the ball. He looks ready to cry, and then he clatters into Anderson, and he just pins Anderson down to the floor. I love that. So I don't think he can come out either. So I don't know about you, but I don't think there's a space for Yoane Wissa right now. And I know there's a lot of chance for rotation, so he will get his game time, but I don't think there's a spot for him. What do you think?
well, yeah, I'm old school though, Michael. Remember, I first the
Four,
first
four.
the first 40 years I watched football for it was 4-4-2, unless Franz Beckenbauer was playing sweeper. in which case it was some strange German formation. I don't know. I mean, that's more likely to be 4-4-1-1, with one
Yeah.
wide winger as one of the four in midfield, down the right probably, and
Mm-hmm.
Joe Linton down the left, filling in back. But you still have to have the width, don't you? That's what's
Yeah.
confusing. And if we've gone four at the back and Hall is fit, I think that means we're leaving Dan Burn out as well, which is
Yeah.
this is because we're not used to having a strong squad, isn't it? This is
Yeah,
because
absolutely.
we're the
This is
same as
proper
Eddie Howe.
Christmas.
We're used to having a first choice 11 and a load of subs that'll come on, and they hope that they do something now and again. But what we're talking about here is having a squad strong enough to be able to pick several selections, several formations,
Yeah.
and have a choice of players that you bring in. Because of course Wissa won't play all of the games, will he? Wissa will come in and play
No.
10 or 12 games, and then he'll bugger off to the African Cup of Nations. So we'll have to be finding a way of playing without him as well. Um, I do think I think he's a centre forward, but Brentford played him as a wide man, didn't they? When they had
Ivan
him
Toney was
Wemo as
there, yeah.
well.
Yeah, it was a front three of Wissa on the left, Ivan Toney down the middle, and Mbuemo on the right, which absolutely fantastic front three. Might not be as good as, maybe Anthony Gordon goes out in his preferred position on the right sometimes. Alanga's there, Murphy's there. You've got three excellent players who can play right wing. Gordon, Barnes, Wissa, you can pop him on the left as well. So you could play Wissa and Voltemada together, which that'd be very scary because we know how good Wissa is from his time in the Premier League. We know how good Voltemada is. And when Anthony Gordon's not in good form, which he isn't at the moment, he will get back to that form. Just needs something to spark, just to ignite it. But it hasn't had it yet. And Barnes isn't in great form either, despite having one of his better cameos for us at the weekend. So Wissa, I think you're right. I think he could potentially be fighting for the left wing spot. And we start Voltemada and Wissa together, which, wow, that'd be exciting.
And that's what we bought him for. Um, to be fair to Anthony Gordon, I mean, he's been suspended for three of the games. He had to play centre forward in those matches beforehand. So that was only his second game down, or his third game if you include the Barcelona game, playing on the left for us. And I thought both at USG and against Forest, there were flashes of the old Anthony Gordon.
I'll agree, yeah.
Pace is
It was
still there.
flashy.
The control is still there. The desire to get past the man is still there, but not the be all and end all though. Maybe that's the team game he's been asked to play.
Yeah, I
He
was
could.
saying yesterday that I think it feels like he's playing 20 yards further back. I don't know if you've agreed with that, if you agree with that yourself, or if it's just a case of, I'm trying to find excuses for him, but it feels like he's so much deeper than what he normally is. Usually you see him going in beyond the man. Every time it picks the ball up now, he's closer at the halfway line than he is the goal for me.
Well, Michael, what do you think of this? I mean, he must have had the choice, and he picked the number 10 shirt, not the number 11 shirt. I think he fancies himself as an inside forward, which is why when he cuts it, there were some great moves. There's a moves where he cuts in from the right, and he's playing a 1-2 with first one player, well, Joe Linton, I think, then Voltemada, and then laying the ball off to the right. But he's just running in a straight line across the pitch.
Yeah.
I love that one-touch stuff.
He created our first good move doing that. Actually, I think it's the same one you're talking about, where he plays with plays it into a couple players, gets it back, knocks it out to Trippier, and Trippier just puts in a fierce low ball to the edge of the box, and Joe Linton hits it straight at the goalkeeper. Unfortunately, that was
That's it.
the biggest. Yeah, that was the biggest glimpse of the first half for me, where I was like, oh, Anthony Gordon could be the game. He gets that spark, and then I think that was probably the best thing he did. But I thought first half he was probably one of our better players. But again, it just feels like creatively we're not quite there. And I feel like that's because the wingers are playing a bit deeper than what they normally are. But again, we had a great XG. It was only 2-0. We've just got our record Champions League win. So I'm saying we're playing 20 yards deeper. It's working as a result. So 5 clean sheets and 7. It's the best Newcastle have ever done. So again,
We've
I
never
can
even
play,
spoken.
but it's pretty good.
We've never even spoken about how fantastic Bioniq Chow is. Sven Botman looks back to his Rolls Royce best. Super
Yeah.
fit. He's played his 90 minutes, hasn't he? All the way through. Can't remember. Did he come off? I can't remember if he came off at the very end.
No,
I don't think he
he
did.
stayed on.
And that's 4 games he started in a fortnight. But Bioniq Chow is, what a bargain, as you said. I thought, what do we
Yeah.
pay? 35 million, and they said that we'd been ripped off.
Yeah. And that's the thing with Botman now as well. He's played the 90 minutes in 4 out of the last 5 games. The only one he got substituted in was Bradford in the 89th minute. So if there was any doubts about Botman's fitness, they look to have been put in the past because excellent performances are back. He's actually lasting the 90 minutes, which is, I think he's done more in the last 5 games than he's done in the last 2 seasons. So that's absolutely fantastic for us. And maybe, just maybe, all it took was Malik Chow, Malik Chow, Malik Chow. What a player he is.
Well, we could talk for ages about how wonderful they were, but we're not going to. I'm going to ask you to do the Zencastr advert, Michael. And then I've got something I
Okay.
heard, which when I've stopped laughing, I'm going to ask what you think about it. And
Oh,
then we're going to look forward to the set of games that we have when we come back from the international break up to the November international break. Let's see if we are going to be pushing up that table.
sounds good. Here at the Global Sports Podcast Network, we have spent a lot of time selecting our delivery platform, and Zencastr came out the clear winner with 4K video recording from your phone and AI editing that automatically removes all those ums and ahs. It is super easy to start a podcast that sounds great and is delivered efficiently. If you're ready to tell your story, check out the link in the show description to learn more about Zencastr.
Very good. Thank you, Michael. Now, first
Thanks.
things first, I've got to mention this because I didn't hear it live. I just heard somebody this afternoon when I was in the car playing a recording from a Sunday night broadcast where Alan Pardew on Talk Sport suggested that the dark horses for the Premier League title were none other than Newcastle United because he's got a great squad. He's got Wissa and Ramsey to come back into it. They're not letting any goals in. What do you think of that?
I mean, I love Pards. He's one of my favourite managers that we've had in the past, but he does talk out of his behind sometimes, doesn't he? He should stick. He should stick to what is it, Uber Eats adverts,
Oh,
which
yeah,
I think are fantastic as well. But
he's
I
good in
think,
them. Yeah,
yeah, he's very good in them. But I think the issue for Newcastle is we're what 6, 7 games in. We've only had 3 players score: Voltemada, Bruno Gomares, and Asula. So it's one of those. In fact, am I right? Am I right thinking that? Oh, Gordon in the Champions League as well, and then Joe Linton in the cups. But in the Premier League, 7 games, 3 goal scorers. And it's one of those where you need more from the rest of the team. Now, I think you can't say anything about a title race for us for another 5 or 6 games. But what I will say is Arsenal don't look that good. Liverpool have been terrible and got really lucky. And Man City, if they lose Haaland, they're not going to finish in the top 4.
well,
So,
Rodri limped out yesterday, didn't he? I don't know how injured he
yeah.
is, but we know what happened when that happened last year.
Yeah,
He
it looks
worried the
like a
whole
hamstring
season, didn't
injury
he?
as well. Yeah.
Yeah.
So
Well,
I
what
think
I
it's
was
one
going
of
to do.
those where those 3 won't. I don't think those 3 are particularly great this season. Liverpool probably will come good. But considering that fan base are already chanting for Arnie Slot out after they've lost 3 games is, well,
Really?
actually it's expected given how pathetic their fan base is. But seeing that online is absolutely ridiculous.
It
But yeah, I
is.
think Liverpool will come good.
I think Chelsea are dodgy. Chelsea are the ones that are
Very dodgy.
nailed on for fourth, apparently, but they're not. They're
No.
not. Right, well, you've set me up rather nicely for us to spend 5 minutes just looking at these next few games before the international break. I'll just look at
Lovely
the
stuff.
league matches. We're away at Brighton, Michael, which is always a tough
Bogey
game
tie.
for us.
Yeah.
That said,
Um,
Brighton aren't quite the team they were last year or the year before, are they, at the moment?
No, and we did dominate them in that game last year. The one at St James's, should I say? We were pretty dominant against them, I believe, in the at the Amex as well. But they got the goal, and then we equalised late on through a really stupid penalty, if I remember correctly. It's a long shot, and one of the Brighton players just puts his arm out for no reason. We get the penalty, and we equalise. We really seem to struggle at breaking them down. So, to be honest, from a Newcastle perspective, that's the game where you go, if we are serious about, top four and challenging, putting in a decent attacking display against Brighton tells you all our worries about our attack gone. So big game for us, that one. But I'm
Excellent.
quite quietly confident.
We've then got 3 home games for the rest of October. Benfica, I've got a ticket for that now, by the way. Did I tell you? I've
Lovely
got a ticket for
stuff.
that.
No,
Um,
great stuff.
we then play Fulham at home. And then it's the Carabao Cup last 16 match against Tottenham at the end of October. Fulham, that's 3 points, isn't it? We said
We say that. It
having
should be,
having
but
watched us lose to them at home last year.
yeah, they were very good against us last year. They're another team that do seem to be a bit of a bogey team for us, which is annoying. But when we get the better of them, we typically batter them. So it should be a good game regardless. They are a decent side. But Marco Silva, he doesn't seem to be too happy at Fulham. Results haven't been the best. At home to
Haven't.
Fulham, realistically, you're looking at it and going, it's another one where you should be getting 3 points.
Away at West Ham, 2nd of November, 3 points, isn't it?
Well, you say that, but I've got nightmares of Aaron Wan-Bissaka running down that right wing. He doesn't seem to do
Yeah, but
anything except
but
against
he'll be
us.
he'll be crossing in for Callum Wilson to get on the end of, won't he? Not Antonio.
Right, and you're telling me that's not the first thing you would stick in a bet slip if you're a neutral. Callum Wilson to score against his old club, and let's get this straight, he would 100% celebrate, and he'd probably
He
do
would.
like the Isaac. He'd probably do the Isaac celebration or something. And I love Cal. I love Callum Wilson, but it's just the kind of shithousery thing he loves to do, and it's the reason we loved him. So I wouldn't be surprised if he does it against us.
Big chance of away points at West Ham, though.
Big chance, yeah.
And after the home game against Athletic in the Champions League, we're away at Brentford, who are also struggling a little bit. And
Yeah.
who can blame them with Wissa and Mbeumo torn out of that forward line? Although, is it Thiago that's come in and playing up front now for
Yeah.
them? He looks
Yeah,
quite
Ego
good.
Thiago. Yeah, I think it's 4 goals so far this season for him. So they're not really missing Yoane Wissa at all, really. It would have been very interesting to see what they've done with Thiago and Wissa. But I think the big thing with Brentford is I don't think anyone expected Keith Andrews to be doing as good of a job as he's doing. I know they're still struggling and they're not great, but I had them down when he was appointed. I had them down as very likely to get relegated because inexperienced manager, set piece coach. It all spells madness when he came in. But he's done very well and he's proven a lot of people, including myself, wrong. So could be a tricky tie, but City, if they turned it on yesterday, could have got 3 or 4. Brentford
Um,
had no interest in getting anything.
I agree with you. I thought it looked a bit bonkers, but why should we doubt what the Brentford board and who they're appointing?
True.
Because they seem to get it right time, and they found Thomas Frank, didn't they?
Yeah, they get it right time and time again.
Yeah. So then we've got the interesting thing, by the way, is that those West Ham and Brentford are both 2 o'clock on a Sunday, which means they're on Sky. We then play Manchester City on under the lights on the Saturday night.
Mm-hmm.
That will be a big match. And I think the way
Is
we've
that the
given
one
them the
after the international break? Sorry.
just a second. Yes. Oh, sorry. That's after. In fact, I've gone through
Yeah.
to the. I've gone through as far as I need to go through. You're right. Forget Man
I don't
City.
want to.
That's even
I
better then.
don't want to cry about Man City just yet. Give us
No,
another month before I make my Haaland comment of he never does anything against Newcastle, because it'll backfire one day. Didn't last season. It might do this time around.
well, look, Michael. I think we'll beat Brentford, and I think we'll beat West Ham away from home.
Yeah, I'm inclined to
I
agree.
think.
Yeah,
I think we'll beat Fulham at home.
yeah,
We've
I
just got
agree.
this Brighton game, which is at least a draw. I think if we do
I
that,
think they
then
might be us.
only because you think they generally do, and yet our record there's not as bad as you would think.
It's
We've
not.
never won there in the Premier League, but we have picked up a few draws there.
I'm just thinking I think they're unbeaten at the Amex this season. They beat City there earlier in the campaign. I mean, I think the other two, it's Fulham and Tottenham. I don't think they beat either. So maybe a draw is on the cards. Another 0-0 draw
We
is
will
on the
because
cards.
it'd have to be 0-0 because we just have not conceded a goal away from home in the Premier League yet.
Yeah, keep that going, and I'll be a very
And we
happy
haven't
man.
we haven't scored one either. But there you go.
Less
Um.
about that.
So well, look if it's 3 wins and a draw out of the 4 games before the next international break, we've got to be
Another 10
moving
points.
up that table, haven't we? And
Certainly be above Sunderland, thankfully.
and sitting quite threatening when City come to play on the return from the international break.
Yeah,
Rodri's out, Haaland's been injured, playing for Norway. Be all right.
a man can dream.
Anyway, it's exciting times. We seem
It
to have
is.
turned a corner. He said, "I hope I'm not saying that too early." We've got a second win. We've beaten the team by more than a single goal twice in a week. Everything's looking up. So now we can look forward to that totally meaningful friendly against Wales on Thursday
Yeah,
before the
great.
really big match. Before the really big match on Tuesday away at Latvia.
Oh, I
Why are
can't.
we
You
having a
can't miss that.
Why are we having a fortnight off for that? Come on, could
It's
have sent
mental, isn't it?
you could send a team of players who are looking for game time to play at Latvia, and we'd win that. That'll do. We don't need a friendly against Wales. Just play the Premier League. That's what we want. Anyway, Michael, thank you very much indeed for your time and your insight and your opinions. I've really
Thanks for
enjoyed
having me.
it. I hope our lovely listener has enjoyed it as well. Perhaps drop us a message to say, what the hell are you two talking about, or not? Don't forget to like and subscribe if you're watching us on YouTube. I've been Iain Mackay. That's been Michael Grahamslaw. We bid you farewell.
Your daily soccer podcast with the Global Sports Podcast Network.